everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is very difficult for me to talk about. It's still kind of hard for me to even come to terms with, I guess. I haven't really talked about this much. Definitely not on my channel, but not really even in real life because it's too hard. But I'm just trying to keep it real with everybody and share my story in case other people may be struggling. I can help somebody maybe. So, unfortunately, when my daughter was 3 months old, I made the decision to stop breastfeeding her. And this decision was made not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I had to, and believe it or not, I felt like it was what was best for my daughter. I know that's probably a controversial topic. I know breastfeeding and formula feeding is a very controversial topic, and it shouldn't be like that. I know there's a lot of shame on mothers to breastfeed, and if they don't breastfeed, there's shame on them type of thing nowadays, which is very unfortunate. And it messed with my head a lot too, honestly, you guys. I'm just going to be real. The pressure from the hospital, lactation consultants, society on new moms to breastfeed is just unreal. And I'm just tired of crying over it and stressing over it because you know what? My daughter is now a formula-fed baby, and you know what? She is happier than ever. She is absolutely thriving. So I don't regret my decision other than the fact that I wish it didn't have to be this way. So let me start from the beginning. So when my daughter was born, she had a very difficult time breastfeeding, which is normal for newborns to have trouble latching and things like that. She was so bad that lactation couldn't really help me necessarily. I talked to maybe 3 different lactation nurses or consultants in the hospital, and they said her latch looked great. They couldn't find anything wrong. Yet when I left the hospital, my nipples were cracked and bleeding and very painful. This is in no way shaming the hospital or the nurses or anybody there, because I had the best care. Honestly, labor and delivery nurses at my hospital are amazing. I loved them. They were just great. This is not shaming them or saying they did anything wrong. This is just telling my story that maybe, I don't really know how to word this. Some issues with breastfeeding can't be seen. And no matter how hard people try to help you, sometimes it just doesn't work. So it's not shaming them. It's just saying that even with people's best efforts, sometimes things just happen, you know? So she had latch problems, and for a couple days home from the hospital, I was desperate. I called lactation 2 days home from the hospital crying, desperate. Please tell me why my baby's latch hurts so bad. What can I do? They told me to get nipple shields. And I tell you what, if you guys are having trouble with your baby's latch, being painful, they are a lifesaver. They're $9, I think, at Walmart. And they saved my life with that. They were amazing. The pain was gone. But I noticed after a while, she really struggled because nipple shields are typically bigger than your actual nipples, and they're kind of slippery. So, because they're made of rubber. My daughter had a really hard time latching onto them, and she would slide off using them. So I was pain-free, but she struggled. So I'm dang it. Well, I took her to her first pediatrician's appointment, and she had lost more weight than she should have. And that's always something that I feel like breastfeeding mothers worry about, because you can't see how much milk your baby's getting. So her doctor gave me some tips, a plan to try to get her to gain weight. So we did it, and we went in for a weight check, and it had worked. She had started to gain weight. So he said, you know what, she's gaining weight. You're kind of free to do your own thing now. So I'm like, great. So we went back. We kind of stuck to the doctor's advice though, because it seemed to work. So we stuck to that, and a couple weeks went by, And I was just like, something doesn't feel right, you know? Like something's just off. So I weighed my daughter and found out she had not gained any weight in like 3 weeks. And I'm like, like I feel like the worst mom ever right now. My baby's not gaining weight and I didn't know. And I started noticing that she would be super fussy like all day long. And I couldn't take it. Like, guys, being real with you, she would scream her head off from the time she woke up until basically all day. Like, seriously, all day. And I couldn't take it anymore. I called her pediatrician's office and was telling them, like, look, this is what is going on. This is what is happening. She would be so fussy, screaming her head off, and she wanted to nurse 24/7. Like, no exaggeration. They say that babies nurse every 2 to 3 hours. No. She would either not stop, and I'd have to take her off after like an hour and a half. No joke. Or I would take her off, and she would scream her head off till I fed her again. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm like, this is just something that doesn't feel right in my gut, you know? Like, this is not normal. Called her pediatrician's office. They said, well, maybe she has colic. And her dad had that when he was a baby. So I'm like, ugh. Well, we take her to her pediatrician, and he doesn't think that that's what is going on. He suggested supplementing with formula, which I know some of you are probably so judgy about it because breast milk is best nutritionally and things like that, and I get that, but I'm going to do what is going to make my baby happy. End of story. So I tried supplementing a couple ounces of formula after nursing, and it seemed to get better. Like, I gave her 2 ounces of formula. She was like 6 weeks old. I gave her 2 ounces of formula after her morning feed and before bed to kind of hold her over and help. Maybe she's hungry because, you know, she wasn't gaining weight, so that's probably why she's fussing. I have a lot of breastfeeding moms on my Facebook page. So I made a status about like, hey, my baby's super fussy after nursing. Like, what the heck do I do? Like, I was desperate. I was in tears all the time because it was so stressful having not only a newborn baby, but a newborn baby that screamed her head off constantly. Like, turning purple, losing her voice, like screaming. Everyone on Facebook said maybe she's lactose intolerant, you know, maybe she has this, and this going on. So I cut out dairy from my diet for like 2 weeks, no change. Cut out meat, no change. Cut back on caffeine. I heard chocolate can upset her stomach. Nothing that I would cut out worked. Screamed her head off still. So that's when I took matters in my own hands. I made a decision to switch to formula. 100% quit breastfeeding, switch to formula. And you know what, guys? No joke. She is a completely different baby. I don't know what was wrong with my breast milk or what was up. I have no clue. And I'm so curious to why. Because she's been formula fed now for several weeks. Completely different baby. Like, she is just happy, smiley all day, talking, doesn't fuss like at all. Like what was up with my breast milk? Have you guys ever had this happen with your baby? And did you ever find out the cause, or did I miss something? I mean, I don't regret my decision because my baby is a happy, healthy, she is gaining weight at just an amazing rate, which she never did when she was breastfed. So we are happy. The only thing is that makes it hard is that I didn't want it to be like this. I wanted to nurse my baby. I wanted to breastfeed her. I had planned for the first year. So making the decision to give it up, some people might feel like that's selfish, but for me, it wasn't at all. For me, the selfish thing was to continue to breastfeed because I knew it made her miserable for some reason. So it was actually a selfless decision. If I was being selfish, I would keep nursing her because I loved it and that's what I wanted to do, even though I didn't feel like it was what was right for her. So basically, again, guys, I'm not shaming moms that breastfeed or the doctors or nurses or lactation consultants involved in this. Everyone was great and so super nice, and they tried their best to help me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm basically making this video because I want other moms out there who may be shamed for formula feeding to just not care. Like, you're doing what's best for your baby. You're doing what's best for you and your baby. As long as you're doing what you believe as a mother is best for you and your baby, you're not failing. You are a super mom as long as you do what's best for your baby. Like, give your baby formula, give your baby breast milk. It doesn't matter. If your baby's happy and healthy, that should be all that matters, guys. So basically just do what is best for your family. Like, that's all I can say. Like, it messed with my mental health a little bit. All the pressure on moms to breastfeed, to make the decision to stop, because I felt like a failure. I felt like a bad mom. I even started to feel like a bad person, and I should never have let it get that bad. It's just, I've realized that as long as my baby's happy and healthy and I'm happy and healthy, that's all that matters, you guys, because not only was breastfeeding like emotional for her, apparently, since she screamed her head off, like something was up, like upset her stomach or something, but it made me mentally just, it messed with my mental health, guys. And you know what? I realized that Josie does need to be physically healthy, obviously, but you know what else she needs? She needs a mom who is mentally healthy. Like, if it's messing with my mental health, I have to stop, you know? So she deserves that. She deserves a healthy and happy mom, and that's what I wanted to give her. But anyway, I did want to talk a little bit about how hard it is to give up breastfeeding. Since, like I said, I did want to do it for the first year, it was very difficult to give it up. Even though I felt in my gut it was what was right for my baby, I loved breastfeeding. Like, I loved the connection and the bond, and just being able to nourish your baby with your body is just like magical. It's so amazing, and I'm so thankful I did it for 3 months, but I just couldn't do it anymore, guys. So I'm hoping for my next babies I can breastfeed again, and hopefully it won't be an issue like this. Like, even lactation told me that breastfeeding's hard, but it shouldn't be as hard as it's been for me, and I believe it. So I made the right decision, but that doesn't mean it was an easy decision. Like, the decision to give up breastfeeding was one of the hardest decisions I have ever had to make in my life. Like, it was really sad, but my baby's happy and she's thriving on formula. So I realized that, you know, I have nothing to be ashamed about, guys. So, oh well, my baby's happy and healthy, and she's formula fed, and I'm not ashamed to admit it anymore. I was, but I'm not. So thank you guys so much for listening to me rant for 15 minutes. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye.